In this video, I'm going to show data quality, specifically data entry validation such as address, phone number, birth date, or other fields. So let's dive right in. So how do you identify which fields you want to verify? Well, out of the box, fields such as phone number, for example, are free form, although it will respect formatting, things like 10-digit numbers and things like that will be entered and formatted universally as they enter the system. But what if you wanted to add additional verification? You can actually do that within Salesforce. So right now we're in the admin or setup side of things. So once again, this is more for administrator to define. So let's just say we're gonna verify phone numbers. So let's just look at a home phone number on the contact field. And so what you will see in here is that we don't have any validation rules at this point. But I can easily, as an administrator, say we'd like to verify certain things on the phone number field. So I would give it a name. So that my rule could be validate 10-digit number, something like that. And then what Salesforce offers you is a very rich formula definition, very similar to what you would find in Excel. So notice that we can do some date and time functions, logical functions, math, text, and some other advanced function. And it gives you this window where you can check your syntax and things like that. And they're also very, this is quite well documented. So for example, let me get rid of that. Here's a documentation that talks about various functions and how you can use them. So here's US phone number verification formula, right? So you can just take this formula and paste it into here and maybe even make it more robust with other checks and things like that. So that's how you can create validation on really any field. So I showed you on the phone number, but that could be validation on birthdays. That could be validation on some other fields as well. And you can have validations even on custom fields, the fields that you're going to create. Now, the other thing that you can do, you can define also required fields. So we're looking at here at the contact page layout. So it's drag and drop functionality. So notice that, if I want birthday below gender, I can just drag and drop. Or if I didn't want certain field on my layout, and those are the ones that are going to show up to the end user, I could just move it. Obviously, I do want birthday, so I'm just going to move it back. So these fields define what is visible, but also you can make fields required. So today, birthday is not a required field, but maybe down the road you decide that you want that to be a required field as people enter new contacts. You want to capture that field. Notice that I can just check mark this and make that a required field. I'm not going to do that now. Also, you can make fields read-only, right? So if you just want people to look at fields and not being able to edit them, you can do that as well. And that could be driven also by profile of the user that's logged into the system. So it's not one size fits all. You can define these types of things by role. So that's how you would create or define required field. And now I'd like to move on and talk about address verification. So within Salesforce and PSP, you actually have options. So the options you can see here, you can use a number of different services. Smarty Streets is one service that can verify addresses. The other one is Cicero and Google Geocoding API. For my demo, I turned on Smart Streets, so that's what I'm going to use to verify address. So let's come to a contact record and create a brand new one. So let's just create John Smith, and John is going to be living at Let's just enter his primary address, which is going to be his home. And let's just say he lives on 154 Edward Street, Northwest, in Atlanta, Georgia. All right. So as I save that, the system not only saves that record, it goes out and verifies against Smarty Streets in this case. And so if we look at the record now, notice that it has verified this as a valid address. It shows us on a Google map exactly where it's located. And so we're good to go on this one. Let's go ahead and create a wrong address record. So let's say now it's John Murphy that we're entering, and John is going to live on a street that doesn't exist. So we're going to enter, let's just say 123 wrong street, and I'm just making up a name, obviously here in Atlanta, Georgia. All right, let's go ahead and save that. So we've saved the record, but because it's not a valid address, notice that not only it's not showing it on the Google map, but also it lets me know, so there's additional record that's created to verify things. Notice that it says pending verification, and if I drill down into this record, that actually stores some additional data around the verification of this address. Notice that there's some additional fields in here that could be captured, and notice that it came back with address not found. So it talked to Smarty Streets, it came back with address not found, so it recorded that. And now, I can maybe ask my contact here, maybe I've got the wrong spelling, or maybe, I've misheard the name of the street, and correct that. So that's address verification and validation of fields within Salesforce.